Hey everybody, I'm here with the team of Dabster Entertainment, Michael La Manna, who is the founder, creative director, and a composer at Dabster, as well as Anthony, who's a team lead on their current project, Pergamon. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
No
Yeah, I'm
problem.
I'm doing great. Thanks for talking to us.
I'm always interested in talking to new people. So, Michael, I'm gonna get started and jump into your questions here.
Okay.
So, um, first thing I've got here is since the founding of Dabster Entertainment in 2017, the company has put out two games, and you're currently working on a third. How have you seen the team grow in confidence and experience since your
So,
founding?
so this is so Dabster Entertainment. It's pretty much every game we started has been a new team because, as
Really?
you all know, indie. So we all have day jobs. So let's put that out there right now. I think you're aware of that. And so we've been doing this in hobby time. So when Dabster first formed, do you have time for a little bit of history?
Yeah, of course.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
So we first started as a company called Floppy Entertainment with two good friends. And my friend Tom and Brian. Brian now works for Bungie, and then Tom now works for Ilphonic Games. So they both, after we started creating Little Sherman, in the midst of that, they left and then actually I've really summarized a lot of history, but basically that's what they did. They're working for big game companies now. So, but I was able to pull some of them and our original team and finish Little Sherman because it was like my goal to finish this one game. And I don't know if you ever done game development yourself?
I've worked with an indie studio, but I was a community manager, so I don't know anything about coding, but I've seen the development
Yeah.
process. Like I know,
Well,
know
there's
about
multiple
sprints.
facets of it. Is
Yeah.
development, coding, the art, sound, everything. But as you can only imagine, trying to have a team build this in their off hours, that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that that was a feat in itself. But we were able to do it twice, and like I said, both times we had different teams. There was some developer from Little Sherman that went over to SSTR, but for the new game that we're working on right now. It was I guess it was a collaboration. Anthony had a great idea. Anthony was the creative director, the creative mind for everything that we're building right now. And I was like, and I work with him in my day job. I don't know if he wanted to say that, but I just did. And we're both developers. He's like the scrum master. And I was like, well, dude, we should make a game together. I was like, I should be able to pull some artists and start a new team. And he had a great concept, and he's been doing a lot of the work. And like I said, he owns his own game company, so it's going to be a collaboration. It's going to be released on his game company with Dabster Entertainment being like the second developer team. But yes, I know I kind of spoke quite a bit, and I know I really summarized quite a few years. There's like a lot of history. I don't know if you have time for me to go into some more, but basically that was it.
Okay. I wanted to ask a side question for Anthony. Michael said that, this was kind of your idea for the most part, the game. How long had this been an idea of yours or something that you're cooking up?
Well, I actually worked on a 2D iteration of this game for a couple of years after Dwarf Corp before this opportunity came along. Um, so yeah, I did most of the lore and the world building and such about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Originally, the game was supposed to be what was it, 8-bit or retro style?
Okay, it's a style
Bayonetta.
called Pixel Poly.
There
If
you
if
go.
you
Thank
haven't
you.
heard of it,
Yeah.
it's low poly but with like pixel art textures and stuff. And what I discovered really quick was it's really hard to explain this to artists who are used to doing like the super realistic modern art stuff. And B, it is impossible to find any sort of pre-made assets for that art style. They just
Mhm.
don't exist. So we'd have to build everything from scratch, and we abandoned it pretty early because I could not communicate the vision properly to the artist. So the art style we have um, now I love it. At the time, it was a
Mhm.
compromise, but I think it's looking great now.
Oh, yeah. I
Um,
couldn't. I was doing some 3D modeling also, and I just couldn't wrap my head around the pixel art. I just couldn't do it.
Well, I'm glad that you guys were able to find a compromise and one that grew on you, Anthony.
so I
Um,
still want to go back and make a pixel poly game of some type at some point. Maybe the next one.
maybe. Um, Michael, you touched on this in my first question. But Dabster, when looking at your site and I think on your LinkedIn, it did say, that the team was comprised of people of different backgrounds outside of the industry because it is a hobbyist
Yep.
studio,
Mhm.
such as, you got children's authors, mental health counselors, composers, engineers, and more. You know, how have those different outlooks and different experiences in different industries helped in making games that other
Well,
developers may not possess?
so what I feel and what I've gathered from these people, I don't know they all have different input, but I'm going to summarize. So if you're working on this is what I found. If you're working on an indie game, and you have a family and you have a day job and you're grinding and you're still putting in hours a week, it's
Mhm.
this, that devotion right there that makes the game successful. And that's what pretty much brings us, that's a common denominator between all of us. So, but obviously all the different aspects. I mean, that was kind of like a bullet point that we added to the website. I know it kind of sounds cheesy, but everybody who was on the original team was just from so many different backgrounds. Like now, I feel like other than me and Anthony, I feel like we have a really young team. I feel like our artists are very young, like fresh out of college. So, but it's been awesome.
Gotcha.
Hopefully that answers your question. I know I kind of like beat around it.
No, that's good. That's good. So, for the current team at Dabster, are there any plans to maybe eventually work at the studio full time or get the studio to be a full time thing? Or is it just going to remain a hobbyist thing that you guys enjoy to
Well,
do in your free time?
let's talk about Anthony. Anthony, have you told him about your game company and the name of it?
Um, I'm the owner of Holy Donut Games, but we've only pseudo published one title. The game exists basically to take over the IP of Dwarf Corp from the Completely Fair Games, which is the name of the company that actually published it. So you're talking about like going full time, being a full time indie dev. I know Mike's not that far away from retirement, so maybe it'll happen for him pretty soon.
Thanks a lot, dude. I'm quite a few years from
Yeah, a
retired.
lot closer than
That's a
I am.
little, it's an
A lot
inside joke
closer than
there.
I am.
Uh,
Um, yeah, I could see that happening if, like, you go out and buy a couple million copies of our game right after this interview, or something
of
like
course,
that.
it's all about the success. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends entirely on. I'm not going to rule it out and just say it's not going to happen, but realistically,
It's just,
it's more of a dream
yep.
than a plan right now.
And me personally, to be honest with you, just how the economics is in the world, I don't think I would ever leave my day job right now.
No,
I,
we got a pretty good solid
yeah,
gig that I don't think is
we
going
have a
anywhere
really
anytime
good
soon.
gig. So maybe we
Okay.
shouldn't have said it. But
S-
I just feel like the
Anthony,
tide is changing, dude. I really think like people are like, oh shit, I have to have two side hustles. I gotta have my day job. I want to do the indie dream. I'm gonna have to grind away and
mhm,
do multiple things. I mean, I don't,
Yep.
that's how I feel.
gotcha. Anthony, you said your studio is called was it Donut Hole
Holy
Games?
Donut Games.
Holy Donut Games. So this wasn't
So
something I'd
that's holy with
known.
an E because donuts have
Holy with
holes
an
in
E.
them.
Let me
So
get the
this.
website up, dude, and
Mhm.
linking it to his site and put all his, the mutual logos on. I'll send you a link.
Okay. Yeah. So that's cool. I didn't know that you guys were collaborating on that on Pergamon going into this. So I'll definitely put whole E game. I'll put that in the title as
Anthony,
well.
Anthony, copy
What?
and paste the logo in this group chat so he has it.
Oh, the logo. Yes. Let me get it off my website.
Super cool logo. I
Is
mean, not
it?
as cool as mine,
I think it's a cool
but
logo.
I'm sure it's
not as
cool.
cool as Dabster, but it's a
Okay, just to be as offensive as possible in your interview, the logo itself is a donut with a crown of thorns.
Okay.
because it's a holy
Holy.
donut.
Whole
Onwards.
Holy Donut Games.
There it is. It looks really cool.
Yeah, I
You,
drew it myself like 10 years
uh,
ago.
you threw it in the chat, dude.
Oh, I see. That is pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a good collab. Like I said, Anthony's just running uh super intent what is the word I'm looking for? It's just it's his baby. And we're
This is
just trying to
maybe.
fill in the pieces.
That's
Yeah.
the same thing I said, yeah. And I'm kind of an asshole about it sometimes too.
Yeah, he's very hard to work with. I don't know if you want
Yeah.
to put that in an interview or not. I'm kidding. He's a
Um,
perfectionist, man. My God. Ah,
Well, when
so
you show me something I like, I don't say anything.
yeah.
it's not just Dabster's current project then. So both the, Holy Donut
Correct.
and Dabster's current project,
And I'm
you
sorry
guys
if
are,
we didn't make that clear.
no, no, you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, but when you look at it, I mean, Holy Done It Games is just me.
It's just you.
It's not a studio. It's just me. It's just a name I have to put on a Steam account so I can make them pay me. Um, it's the relationship is more like we're collabing, and then Mike is managing a bunch of other asset creators to build stuff for it.
Gotcha.
Right. He's doing the legwork to go out there and find them and bring them into the project and all that.
Well, um, your current project that you guys are collaborating on is Pergamon, which is the sci-fi FPS. So we talked about that's your brainchild. Um, what are some key takeaways, Michael, that you got from Lil Sherman and SSTR that have helped in Pergamon?
My takeaway was keep the scope small.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Keep
we
it
kept
something
to
that you could
that.
actually create. That's why we got rid of the pixel art because that was not successful with us. Yeah, keep the scope small, something you could create. Don't go overboard. Yeah,
I think I may have failed on the scope part.
yeah, yeah.
well,
Keep it within scope.
okay. So keep it within.
As a matter of fact, there's the gameplay. There's a walk play video that Anthony handed off to me. I have to do some editing to it, but I'll let you see it first when I get it. It'll probably be this weekend. I'll throw it in the chat so you can check it out. But just like
Okay,
a walkthrough of the levels and shit.
cool, awesome. Um, so, again, we mentioned that this is mostly the brainchild of Anthony, but your other game at Dabster was SSTR, which is like a
Mhm.
sci-fi horror. Um, is there anything, at least in your work on Pergamon, that has been influenced by that, or is there anything that you
I did
enjoy doing?
I did really heavy so SSTR was only three people. It was me, Lauren, and Nick. And I was it was a lot of audio design, a lot of as a matter of fact, I had my daughter play the AI robot. So we did a bunch of voice recording for her. It's a lot of immersive sound. I used Fmod. I don't know if you know what that is. That's interactive audio, like plug-in for Unity.
Hmm.
So you can make adaptive audio, like like when you go into like a danger area, there's more strings, and then there's more drums, and then it backs off a little bit. I'm probably going to do the same thing for this game, since now I
Yeah,
have
I'm
a
gonna insist on it.
yeah.
Cool. So, the Discord server, the Dabster Discord server, has a game development channel that documents kind of the development of Pergamon. You guys have got extensive notes, highlights, images, more. You can scroll up for a long time. I scrolled up as far back as February. How long have you guys
Mhm.
been developing the game? And how long do you think, how much longer do you think you have to go
I'll let it. Well, we've been going through since February.
since
I'm gonna say one
February?
thing before you
I
take it,
think we've
Anthony.
been going before that. I think
Wait, wait.
we started on the private channel.
So that's true. So I'll go first. So when I came into this, I am a newbie 3D modeler.
Okay.
So I was tasked with keep creating creatures. I feel like I've come quite a ways because to be honest with you, I've been working audio, making music for many, many years. I do it for television as a side hustle also. So it's kind of like second nature for me. But I've
Hmm.
always wanted the 3D, and then Anthony was giving me like some schooling lessons on how to be a better 3D artist. And some of the I guess Anthony, did you decide?
Yeah, a little bit. So what I run into with, and it's actually it's like all of them. I've been doing like I used to be a 3D artist, but it was 25 years ago, when our triangle budgets were like double digits, right?
Yep.
And I'm discovering two things. I'm discovering a lot of the stuff that I learned, like the technical side of game art and the how to make a model efficient and all this other kind of stuff. They don't know it, but on the other side, it doesn't seem to matter anymore. I mean, I'm pushing so many millions of triangles just running in the Unity editor, and it's still running at hundreds and hundreds of frames per second. It's amazing what modern technology has accomplished. So they
And
can deliver me a model that makes my eyes bug out, and then it runs perfectly fine in the game.
and what I've learned since the beginning of this journey for this game, because I was never a 3D artist for any of the other games. Uh, well, let's say like my first characters were pretty horrible, and they've gotten progressively better with time. Like the bug characters, that if you scroll, you'll probably see. So I've learned quite a bit.
Practice makes perfect, you know,
Yes, very much so.
or perfect. Some people say perfect practice makes perfect.
What
Um,
was it,
I'm sorry.
10,000 hour rule or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, well, so from, concept art and images shared of the game, which you guys have shared on LinkedIn and other platforms, it's like an alien planet. And you even said yourself, Michael, that you worked on like bug-like creatures when you did
Yeah.
your 3D modeling. What can you say about the story or the world that you guys are building? If you, Anthony, if you want to take the lead, since this seems to be
Definitely.
your brainchild.
All right. So let's see if I can sell the game to you in the next 5 minutes. So
Okay.
yeah, it's on an alien planet with bug-like creatures, as you said, but um, you've crash landed on that planet, right? You're a
Yeah.
space pilot. You're a space pilot in an era when being a space pilot means that you're capable of sitting at a desk and playing video games for 24 hours a day for a couple of months without any other human contact. You know, talking single player games, not multiplayer, because you're out in the middle of deep space while the AI flies the ship. And your job is basically to be there to flip the switch if the AI, goes insane and tries to kill you, or shuts down, or is going to crash into a planet or whatever. You toggle the breaker, reset the AI, and it flies the ship some more. So you, the player, have no appreciable skills. You're just a warm body on a spaceship when it crashes. And then the game actually takes place 10,000 years later.
So
So did I pique your interest at all?
yeah, yeah, no.
All right.
Um,
So
I want to go ahead.
everything you encounter in the game is a result of copies of yourself trying to survive on this planet.
Oh,
All of the life is evolved from, the farm that was on the ship, the stored stuff on the ship. It's only habitable because of the terraforming equipment that was on the ship. All of the stuff scattered about, the buildings, everything are made out of bits of the crash ship. It was completely barren when you crashed. Now it's 10,000 years later, and the AI has just woken you up
hmm.
and told you to go plug a chip into this big giant computer, and you have no idea what's going on.
So were you in like a cryopod or something when you crashed?
No, you are a clone. You are a
Oh, okay.
copy,
That's what I figured at first, but then you had said
which
something else that made me get rid
then
of that idea.
gets worked into the gameplay in the same way like it's worked in like a BioShock, where the
Hmm.
Vita chamber makes a clone of you every time you die, but in reality it's a video game. You died and you just restart from earlier. Um, but it it meshes nicely with the realities of gameplay too.
Cool. That's interesting. No, that's a good sell. If you were a salesman, have been a good sell. Anything that you'd like to add, Michael?
No, that's about it.
Nope.
We're gonna have to work on that pitch, bro.
Yeah,
We got
it's
to
not the
come it
best
down. We're
pitch.
gonna take it down to two
It,
sentences for
Two
okay,
sentences.
release on Steam.
I'm not the pitchman. That's your job.
Okay.
I thought it was I thought it was a good, decent pitch for the interview. Um,
I mean, obviously, it's first person shooter.
yeah.
Okay.
It
It's a
is
first
it
person
is a
shooter.
first well,
Is that still up for speculation? I
I
mean,
mean
shape.
it is a first person shooter, but the first person shooter ness of it is not the primary focus of the gameplay. That's not
Mm.
the
I'm gonna skip over one of the questions I have since we're just talking about it being a first person shooter. Um, is it like a boomer shooter? What kind of, or is it something else? Is it more fast paced than that? Like, what kind of FPS gameplay style can somebody expect? Because I kind of figured that it'd be something more along the lines of a boomer shooter, um, based on images. But
okay. So I had to look that up to decide whether or not that
So why
name
don't you
should
tell me
make
what
me
that
feel
means?
old.
Because I would have to look up it also.
It depends on what he means by boomer shooter.
a
The
boomer
best
shooter,
definition I found, he'll tell us,
it's like Doom, like the original Doom,
Okay.
uh, or like Wolfenstein.
or like the current Doom, Doom Eternal, Doom
Yeah,
2016, more of a fast-paced. You're not ducking in cover or popping shots or going down in one hit. It's more like an arcade game.
yeah, not like something like Call of Duty
Yeah.
or
So by
Titanfall.
by that definition, the gunplay is definitely that and not like
Yeah,
super realistic. I mean,
I mean,
I've
weren't you
got
inspired by Metroid Prime?
yes, Metroid Prime is probably like the biggest inspiration.
really.
And
But
Metroid
hey,
Prime would play a lot like a boomer shooter
that's funny. That
if it wasn't
answers
so slow.
that answers one of my questions. I said, what games or pieces of media have inspired aspects of Pergamon? But looks like
I
you guys
know,
answered
didn't
that.
want
Metroid
to.
Prime.
I mean, it's not the only one, but it
Any
is.
more?
If I had to pick one, I'd pick Metroid Prime.
You'd pick Metroid Prime if you had to pick one. All
Yep,
right.
and I still can't get this guy to play it.
You
Dude, I'm
haven't
still
played.
trying to finish Elden Ring, bro.
You haven't
You're
finished
never gonna
Elden
finish
Ring
Elden
yet?
And
Ring.
making a video game and working on music. And we both have full-time jobs.
I love
Well,
Elden
I'll
Ring.
just let you know. You can put this in your interview. I am Elden Lord. I spanked Consort Radon's ass before he was nerfed, and this guy has. And before this guy was able to kill Margit.
But I
Shaming
remember
him.
I started it. This is like a constant thing at work. Do you remember I started the game much later than you? Okay. And I'm
Yeah, but
not
you
a
bought it like the
Souls
day it
game.
came out.
I'm not a big Souls. This was my first Souls game, so it was a learning experience. And Elden Ring is probably one of the better games I've ever played in my life.
Oh
I don't know
yeah.
if you played it, but it's pretty amazing. But once I
I've
got the hang of it, that's just a side note, dude.
I no, I've played it. I love Elden Ring. I've probably beaten it like three times, I think.
Okay.
I haven't played the DLC because I have it on PlayStation 5 and I don't the DLC doesn't run too great on the PlayStation 5.
Really?
Um
Really?
no, it's really choppy. Maybe they've
Sucks.
updated it. I haven't played it since it came out, but it was like really choppy and it was just kind of frustrating. Um so that's
Hmm.
most of the questions I had about Dabster and Pergamon. Um We're gonna move here. I've got some more interactive questions, some just little fun things I do before the end of the interview. I've got a question for both of you to answer individually. We're gonna start with Michael, and then we'll go to you, Anthony. What is your favorite game of all time, Michael?
It's hmm. Man, there's so many, dude. I had to pick one. Fudge. Uh,
I think you can say the F word. It's okay.
okay, so
Say the F word.
it's either between The Witcher, uh, The Wild Hunt, or Skyrim. But then again, dude, Dead Space was really good. I like horror games also. BioShock was phenomenal. Uh, I guess I would have to say Skyrim.
Skyrim.
Yeah,
Okay. That's a good choice. That's
yeah.
a that's a respectable
Looking forward to
choice.
the new one, whenever that comes out.
Not even my favorite Bethesda game.
Really? I don't think that's a crazy opinion to
Not a bad
have.
choice. I mean, it's a fantastic game.
What's your favorite game of all time, Anthony?
That's tough. There are so many, right? Like I could go to Elden Ring.
Oh my,
Honestly, it was like life changing.
I
Or
need to say something after that.
back to the original Souls,
Okay.
Dark Souls. What? Are you saying something, Mike?
No, go
I said
ahead. I
he-
don't want to cut you off. I do that enough.
yeah.
Yeah, we cut each other off all the time. Um, like the original Dark Souls was just an experience. The first time, the game has that reputation for being super hard, and you come out of the asylum and you talk to the dude there, and you immediately take a right and head down into the graveyard and then down into the catacombs because he said you have to go down, and you're fighting those fucking skeletons that just kick your ass, and you think, wow, this game is hard as they say it is, with no realization that you totally went the wrong way. Sorry if I just spoiled the game for you. I'm sure you've
So is
played
that
it.
your favorite game, dude?
No, honestly, I have to go way back. I'm gonna go with Ocarina of Time.
That's a good choice. I think I've had somebody say that before. That's
Ocarina of
a
Time on the Nintendo 64 in a gold cartridge. That's the only way
Oh
to
my
play it.
goodness, you went way back.
Mike, you had something you wanted to add?
Yeah, dude, I played a game last year. When I maybe it was 2 years ago when I first got my PlayStation 5. I played Stray. Have you played Stray?
I haven't myself, but I watched my girlfriend play through it.
Dude,
I want to play
dude,
that game, but it's
that
only out
game
on PlayStation.
was kind of like a simple game. The mechanics were like, nothing complex. My God, the game was so good. It was just so good. The environment was so, it was it was a great game. It was a
Great.
really good game. Yeah.
Okay.
I was super surprised when I played it again. I was like, I gotta be a cat. This is gonna suck. Dude, it turned out to be a phenomenal game, man. The atmosphere and the environment was just spot on. It was just great.
This
Soundtrack
this
was great. It's a great
some
game.
game came out recently that I think is like the same, like a very similar. It's called like Little Cat Big City or something. I think
Really?
it's like
I've
this.
actually played that one.
Yeah, I think it's the same
Yeah,
thing. You just play as like
you're.
your
I
cat.
think the similarities kind of end with the being a cat part, though.
Oh, is it not the same gameplay?
It's Little Cat Big City is very much like a game for children. It's very
Uh,
straightforward, simple cartoon graphics.
Mhm.
okay.
It was fun,
Well,
but
The art design in Stray was amazing also.
it
yeah, it
was
did
like
look
super
cool.
realistic, right?
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was really realistic, but it had
No?
the environment had, it was ran by robots. Spoiler alert. Uh,
No.
but the environment felt kind of like Japan, Asian, Japanese. It was really cool.
Yeah,
You could get lost in the environment. I was just like searching for many hours in that game. It's, anyway, it was really good.
I
that's
still
cool.
want to play it.
Have
I
you did you play have you played Alien Isolation?
you
No.
talking?
Both of you.
I really want to. I haven't had the chance to, but I really want to.
So good.
Especially since
I've been
I heard they're
busy
getting a sequel. I heard
with
there's
Yeah.
a sequel
Sparking
coming out.
Zero.
Yeah, I was stoked about that. Anthony, did you play it?
No.
Oh, so good.
Well,
So
I'm
good.
gonna move on to the
Sorry,
next
dude.
thing now.
Going to
No, you're
tangent here.
good. Uh, uh that's no, you're fine. So I do these typically. They're called blind ranks, right? So I've got five characters here. Um, I'm gonna name one off, one after the other, and you're gonna rank them one through five without knowing who's next. Um, and so you're going to blind rank these characters from sci-fi games from coolest to lame. So you can put them in anything one through five, but you don't know who's next. That's why it's called a blind rank.
Okay.
Um, I have two here. Now you can both get one yourself, or you can both work on them together. Do you guys have a preference? Do you want to just each do your own one, or do you want to work on them together?
I'm for we could each do our own.
Okay, then
Yeah, okay.
you'll go first here, um, Mike.
So now you
So
got to tell me a character and I have to rate it 1 through 5.
1 through 5. All right.
Being the
So
highest, obviously.
one, yeah, one's the highest, five's the lowest. So you're gonna rank these
Oh, five's the
sci-fi,
lowest. Okay.
five the lowest. You're
Okay.
gonna rank these sci-fi game characters from coolest to lamest.
Okay. I'm ready.
All right. So the first character is Doom Guy.
Uh, latest.
Lamest.
Just say a little 5. Yeah, I'll go with 5 too.
No hesitation at
No
all.
hesitation on the 5. I'm with
Um,
Mike on that one. What's he got
Mas
special about him? He's just a dude that kills demons.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing really. Yeah.
All right, your
Yeah.
next character is Master Chief.
Oh, okay. I'm going to give him a 3.
3?
I see you're a big fan, so I see your helmet behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I
actually a
saw that
master.
helmet. I
It's a
like
helmet, but
the
there's
helmet.
also a Doom vinyl right behind it.
Okay.
Um,
Good soundtrack.
um,
I
all right.
don't I don't need, Doom guy like coming after me or anything. So just, he's just a regular dude. I mean, I think it's cool that he killed his demons because they killed his bunny, but
Your next character is Gordon Freeman.
and you already used up the 5. I guess he's going to be a 4. I kind of
Yeah.
feel like the whole point of Gordon Freeman is that he's not cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I'll take
guys
it.
are
I'll
Like
give
if
him a
he was
4
cool,
also.
it would defeat the purpose of his existence if he was cool.
you guys are really ruthless, man. No hesitation.
Let me make sure I got the right guy here, man. It's Half-Life, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Half-Life.
Okay, right. The
Um,
haven't they been working on a new Half-Life game forever now?
there was
Well,
the one for the
probably
VR a
not. I
couple of
Yeah.
years
mean,
ago.
it's
Um,
Valve. They don't make games anymore.
They
your
just make
next
they
character,
just make money.
Yeah.
your
Sorry, you
next
go.
character is Optimus Prime.
Ah,
Oh, number 1.
I'll go with 2.
You get well, it is Michael's list, so we'll put Optimus Prime at 2.
And we
I
have one.
thought it was our list. I thought we were trading off. Okay. Am I
I
gonna get like
thought,
a whole different set of people?
yeah, you're getting a whole different thing. You're getting a
Okay.
whole different list that you're doing. Um, and then your next character is Alloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, but you don't have a choice where to put her, so she's at number 1.
That's good. Yeah, because she's a good character. She's deep.
So
She's engaging. Yeah.
you got
I
Alloy
played the
at
first game. I haven't played the second game.
number 1,
Mhm.
Optimus at 2, Master Chief at 3, Gordon Freeman at 4, Doom Guy at 5.
Yeah,
You
that's
pretty
good.
happy with that list?
Yeah,
Awesome.
very, very happy.
Um, all right. Now, Anthony, we're gonna have you do your list now. So you're blind ranking these FPS games from best to worst, with best being
Oh,
number 1.
fantastic. A genre I don't actually play anymore.
Really? Oh, I got some classics in here, so hopefully you've played them. They're all pretty, you know. So your first game is, hold on, let me see. Yeah, I've got 5. So your first game is Halo 2.
Let's put that at 3 just to play it safe. It was a really fantastic game when it came out. I think
Okay.
it was eclipsed by some of the later entries in the same
So
lineage there.
your next game, this is actually really convenient that I've got this on the list given what we talked about earlier, is Metroid Prime.
Oh, number 1.
I
Definitely number
didn't
1.
I had not known that you were such a huge fan when I had picked Metroid Prime.
The thing about Metroid Prime though is I wouldn't even. I mean, okay, it's a first-person shooter. You're in first person and you're shooting, right?
Mm,
But it was also made for the GameCube, and it has that weird control scheme, and it relies on you locking onto things. So all you do is lock on and mash the shoot button.
um,
The combat in that game is so secondary to everything else.
it's a lot more like I haven't played it all the way through myself. I've only played a little bit. I didn't have a GameCube growing up, um,
All
but
right, if you get it on the Switch and you get the remaster,
huh,
um, they basically fixed the kind of the end game of that is like this tedious search for all the little glyphs or whatever they are
mm,
to open up the final boss,
okay,
and they put them on the map. So they're a lot easier to find now.
Cool. Your next game is Far Cry 3.
I still
I'm
haven't
gonna
played
go with a
that.
5 because I've never played it.
All right. Your next game is the original Dune. Doom. First ever Doom.
2.
2? Okay. And then your fourth game, of which you have no choice, is Modern Warfare 2. So you
No,
got
I never played that.
Oh, Modern Warfare 2, is that
that's
when
the
did
old
that one
one.
come out?
The old one came out in like I want to say 2008 or 2009 or something. Um,
If that's
I'm
the
not
one I
sure.
think it is, that was the one where you could get the big M16 machine gun and aim down the iron sights and like snipe people across the map with it.
Maybe that's the one. That's probably one of the more popular entries in the series. That's the one with it's got some really popular Call of Duty maps
Not
like
the one where
Rust.
the single player campaign is in like Mexico.
No, that's the new Modern Warfare 2, or maybe the old Modern Warfare 2 is in Mexico too. I don't know. Now it's confusing because there's two Modern Warfare 2s. Um, so maybe it is in Mexico. I'm not sure. I don't think it's in Mexico, but I could be wrong. I thought it was like Russia or something. So you got Metroid Prime, Doom, Halo 2, Modern Warfare 2, and Far Cry 3. That's your list. So, yeah,
If you want to add a really great one to that list, add the game Prey to it.
Prey.
Not the Bethesda game that came out like a couple years ago.
The
I know
original.
which one. Yeah, the
The
original
older one,
Prey.
the old one, the one from 2006 that had been in development since like 1990.
Okay. Um, well, those are it for the blind rankings. My last question for both of you guys, before we head off, is there anything that you'd like to add? Either of you?
Uh, not at this time. I'll keep you posted, dude. Once I get this like sub trailer created, I'll send it your way first.
Okay,
Uh, Tell me a little bit about. I'm kind of curious, real quick, about you.
cool.
So, I mean, are you a student? I mean, how long have you been doing this?
I'm a student at Virginia Tech.
Okay,
Um, I'm a
Oh,
communications major and a professional sales minor.
okay,
I'm
you're
doing this,
actually closer to me than him.
yeah, I'm doing this because I'm really interested in entering the video game industry as a community manager or a social media marketer.
uh-huh,
Um, and I reached out to a bunch of people with those positions, or similar positions, and basically they all said, make content. And they said it
yeah,
doesn't have to, you don't have to get hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube or anything, but if you can make some sort of content, then that's going to make you look more desirable than people that, don't do that and are applying for the same
yeah,
positions.
makes
And
sense.
I had I was like, okay, well, I'll make content, but I don't want to just play video games. There's so many people out there that are playing video games,
Yep,
doing Let's Plays. And I had a class last semester called media writing where, I had to write media stories, but one of the assignments was that I had to do a media Q&A. So basically, I Zoomed with somebody like I'm doing now, and I asked them questions. Um, and then I wrote a paper about that. But what I learned from that was I really liked talking to people. And I was like telling a friend of mine about it, and he was like, dude, I told him about the assignment and I told him about what, I reaching out to people. And he says, dude, why don't you just talk to people that make games?
right.
So that's what I started doing. And I'm really enjoying it. I think there's some things I can do better. I think sometimes I'm
Uh-huh.
a little bit awkward when I talk. But you can always get better at editing, but it's something I've really been enjoying and I'm kind of always reaching out to people.
No, you
And
did all.
hopefully, yeah,
I think it was pretty good for our first ever interview.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I sound like an idiot, but you were great.
No, nobody sounded like an idiot. I don't typically do it with two people, so
Hmm.
it's a little bit more hectic, but that is also a good thing because it seems more conversational.
Yeah,
Um, obviously it's good to have a set of questions, but I find that sometimes if I'm asking somebody a question and they just respond, um, it seems too, what's the word I'm looking for? Stiff.
scripted. or stiff.
scripty, stiff.
Yeah,
Whereas you guys already have a rapport, and what you just did was you brought your rapport in here, and it seemed a lot more conversational, which is
yeah.
something that I wanted to get better at. So you guys are kind of unique in that sense. So thank you, I appreciate that.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, that might
Yeah.
be have a conversational rapport.
It's good because that's the biggest thing I've gotten is that, from feedback is people saying that I could be a little bit more natural and make it sound like a conversation rather than
Yeah.
just like,
Well, yeah, I mean,
Like a real podcast.
yeah, like a
yeah,
real
if Mike
podcast.
didn't, I am 100% convinced that if Mike did not occasionally laugh at me, he would have driven up here and murdered me by now. So
Mike, if I didn't, what did he say?
if you did not occasionally laugh at me, you would have driven up here and murdered me by now.
No, I would have never done that, dude. You're too big. So not that you've seen a picture of Anthony or probably ever will. Maybe I'll post one just to annoy him. Anthony's like 6'6", 6'7".
Oh my
I'm
God.
6'4"
You're six
and
four, dude.
very,
I'm
very
six
fat.
three. Oh, that's right. That's right. There's a picture of me and you, and I'm almost the same size. Yeah, we're both tall.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah,
Well,
it's kind
thank
of
you.
cool, dude. We both work together. So, yeah, actually,
Yeah.
like, Anthony's kind of like my senior as far as like in
We
charge.
are literally the exact same rank. In fact, I think he gets paid more than I do.
No, actually, we both get paid the same. But Anthony's more knowledgeable and has been a developer longer, and he's a Scrum Master, and he's very
Oh,
he's a
not
very
by
good
choice.
developer, man. I don't know if you know anything about computer programming, but
I
he's pretty good.
I know that it's hard and frustrating for some people.
Yeah,
Uh
it is for me.
It's not as
I
hard as
am
you think. It just takes practice like anything else.
yeah. All right, well, thank you guys so
Awesome,
much
dude. I
for
appreciate this.
no problem. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, cool. Once I get the trailer and everything, I'll shoot you a text and send it to you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
he's making our very first trailer so that we can kind of ties
Some
into that
gameplay.
Discord channel you were digging through. Like that's part of media too,
Cool. Well,
marketing,
I'll
whatever.
share it when I
Yeah,
when you guys publish it, I'll share it. Obviously, I won't
Cool.
share it when you just give it to me directly, but when it's like, hey, this is public now, I'll
Yeah,
definitely share it.
yeah. I'll have
Uh,
to run it by Anthony and then he'll micromanage it, not to do 45 revisions, and then we'll finally get it to you. No, just kidding.
well, again, everybody, this was
All
Michael La
right,
Manna and Anthony, Michael of Dabster and Anthony of Holy Donut Games. Um,
cool.
awesome. You
Thank you,
guys have a
dude.
good one.
Later. Have a good evening.
yeah.
No problem.